Happy New Year, everyone. Let's wrap up December 2020. And as usual, we'll start with the videos. I uploaded a life goals video for 2021 and they're vague as usual, somewhat ambitious. Let's see what happens. Thank you all for sharing your goals and wishing me luck on mine. The only other non-bookish video I uploaded in December was my letter to December. And I thank you very much for all your nice comments and best wishes for the new year. And I hope we're all getting there, that 2021 will be fine. Let's be realistic. Okay, on to the books. December turned out to be a rather eclectic and interesting mix of books. Let's start with the only bookish video I uploaded, and that's my review of the reread of The Truth by Terry Pratchett. This is another book in my Discworld reread. This one is special because it could be read as a standalone. It's somewhere in the middle of the series, so the writing is not as old-fashioned as in the first books. Some people don't like it, and so this feels more modern, let's say it. And it is also set in the world in Ankh-Morpork with a lot of the characters from the sub-series and from the previous books, but you don't need to have read them. So you could actually start with this book and try it out as a standalone. The Truth follows the story of a newspaper starting in Ankh-Morpork. And in true Terry Pratchett fashion, things are not as they appear to be, and it's interesting. You have a lot of fun going on. You also get a mystery about the patrician. There is something that's not really working out right. You get a lot of ideas, characters, and story, mostly looking at the impact a newspaper has. The next book I read was one that I had been meaning to get for a while, but I never liked the cover. So this one is a new cover, and that is amazing. So I ordered it, but I had forgotten what this book is all about. The Mezzanine turns out to be a book about a young man who's an office worker going on his lunch break. More or less. This book really doesn't have much plot or story, and it doesn't really have any character development either. It's mostly stream of consciousness about very mundane things. Like I said, the office worker goes on his lunch break and he goes through a lot of movements and thoughts and different ideas back and forth. He comments on the escalator a lot. He comments on straws and shoelaces, a lot about shoelaces because his broke and he needs to get new shoelaces. So like you can see, it's rather confusing or not. I really enjoyed reading the book, but it's very dense. It's short, but you need your time to get through it because you can't just fly through it, mostly because he keeps interrupting himself with elaborate footnotes and going on a side tangent to whatever he thought about before. If you like overthinking of mundane things and you like when nothing happens in a book, this is a book for you. If you need plot and character, don't even pick this up. A Room of One's Own is an essay on the position of women and fiction, or Virginia Woolf's thoughts and ideas about women and fiction. And I really enjoyed this. Also very short. The first half I basically devoured. I was really interested in her thought process, how she basically looked at the past, why there are not many women writers. And her main thesis is that women don't have the time and the space to do that, and to have the time they need money. So I think this is very relatable, and even though the situation for women writers changed a lot, I had the thought that a lot of the things she addressed in the first half of the book or the essay could also transpire to everyone who's not white and straight male. And it was very interesting. It gave you a lot to think about. I really enjoyed that. The second half felt different. It was still interesting. She was looking at different ideas and following a different thought process, but it didn't have me captivated as the first half did. Still, I can highly recommend it for thinking about how or why people write and when they have the chance to do and what stops them. I also finished listening to David Copperfield in December. This has been a long project as the book is very long. I listened to the audiobook and I was very unsure going into it. Charles Dickens and I have a rather strange relationship, and I loved this. Richard Armitage does a wonderful job of reading it, and I enjoyed listening to Dickens in a way that I never enjoyed reading him. And I know that listening to this book, at some points I thought, if I had read this in paper, I would not have continued. I would have put it down multiple times. Towards the end, the last 5 or 6 hours, I was ready for the story to end, but overall, I enjoyed the writing, I enjoyed the story, I enjoyed the characters. I was very surprised that the life of David Copperfield had me captivated. And also that it was such a long Charles Dickens that had me captivated, which is changing my mind a little bit about giving other Charles Dickens books a try on audio, definitely on audio. I can highly recommend this if you have ever wondered if you don't like Charles Dickens or if it's just you don't like reading Charles Dickens, which is what I don't. The rest of the books were rereads. In December, I embarked on a huge rereading spree, listening on audiobook to all the Murderbot Diaries again, all 5 books, and it was a blast. I enjoy listening to them. I can't stop doing that. They always make me feel good. It's a basic comfort read right now. In case you don't know, the Murderbot Diaries is a science fiction story following a human bot construct who hacked its governor module. A governor module is in the human bot construct to control it, so its owner can punish it when it does something that it doesn't want it to do. And since the human bot construct we're following is a security unit, there are weapons built into it. So a controlling function is understandable. But as I said, this security unit hacked their governor module, so it's rogue, and it's trying to figure out what it wants to do. And this is what we're doing. We're following it on different adventures, on different missions, trying to help people and trying to come to terms with what it wants to do with all the freedom, aside from watching a lot of media. So, enjoyable, a lot of science fiction, it's fun, and it's the most relatable character that I have met in a long, long time. I don't know what that says about me. Anyways, I can recommend it. But that was not the only reread. I also picked up Soulless because I was feeling in a fluffy steampunk mood, and I decided I haven't read the novel in a long time. I have read the manga books every now and again, but the novel, it's been a very long time since I last read it, and I enjoyed it. This is the story following Alexia Terabotti, who's a preternatural, a soulless person. Basically, she cancels out supernatural beings. So if you touch a vampire, the vampire is human. Things like that. And this is the story of her and the other supernatural creatures in London, trying to figure out what is going on with the mystery, and also falling in love with a werewolf and the relationship and everything. It's just pure fun. It's wonderfully written. It's very lighthearted. It's very comforting. And I enjoy the world that Gail Carriger created so much. Which brings me to my last reread. I was feeling in a mood for a comforting read, something that is quick and lighthearted and fluffy and basically takes you in its arms and makes you feel warm and fuzzy. But then I looked at my favorites and go-tos, and they said, we're not that kind of books. You don't read that kind of books. So I reread How to Marry a Werewolf. Also set in the world that Gail Carriger created, with characters from the Parasol Protectorate series, which Soulless is the first book for. And yeah, it was fun as usual. We have one more book to talk about, a DNF. I finally decided to stop giving Gilead a chance. So I picked up Gilead a few months ago, and I was very underwhelmed by it. I had high expectations as it came with a lot of praise from people that I actually like what they are reading and what they're recommending. So I was very disappointed that the great writing that they were talking about felt very lame and mundane, and it was rather boring. The story didn't capture me, and I had some moments where I was like, I don't think I'm happy with this age gap between the couple that is talked about. It's not a romance. It's basically the story of an old man about to die soon because he's old, to his young son because he married late in life And his wife is, I don't remember how many years younger, but I feel like it was 40 or something. So I didn't really like that. She was of age, that wasn't an issue, but still it was something where I was like, I'm not here for that. So the story is basically the father writing a letter to his son and telling him about his life and stuff. And it felt nothing new. I have read books like that before. It's not something I enjoy reading. And then on top of that, I was rather bored by the way it was written, and also it was very circular. We kept returning to the same things and get more information about something. So the more you read, the more you understood the surrounding, the people, the background, the history, and it was just boring. I basically decided to stop reading when I fell asleep one night and I had my finger on the Kindle and it kept flipping forwards. Does that ever happen to you? Usually I can just find my spot back when I wake up again. But with this one, I couldn't. Everything sounded the same. And I thought, if everything sounds the same to me, then it doesn't actually matter if I finish it. That's why I DNF'd Gilead. And now I rambled enough about Gilead, a book that I didn't even like. That doesn't mean you won't like it. I just didn't enjoy it. It wasn't something I enjoy reading. And that was it. Let me know in comments how your reading in December was. What are the books that you finished? Anything good? Were you in some special mood as well, or was that just me rereading everything I could lay my hands on? Anyways, let's talk December. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.